Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May Scorpio eclipse reading. So this is a lunar eclipse that's taking place on the 5th of May and is going to be displaying the other side of the coin of the first eclipse that we had, which was a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. I've made a zodiac specific reading for you and you can find that in my eclipse reading playlist if you're interested, and it would also be useful in giving you a bigger overview as to what's to unfold in the coming 4 to 6 months. Now, lunar eclipses bring about changes that are first begun in the inner world. It can be a rise in feeling, a sense of overwhelm and intuition that comes through, a message from the other world, and so on and so forth, that has a very rapid and also impactful effect in your external reality. Whereas solar eclipses are usually external events that happen that trigger the inside. All right, so let's see how this eclipse is impacting you. Let's get to your tarot and then we will do the oracle. Now, one thing to note is that Mercury is retrograde throughout the eclipse seasons. We had the eclipse going exact on the 20th or the 21st of April, and Mercury went retrograde right the next day. And now it is going to stay in retro while this eclipse is happening as well. It's going direct on the 15th of May. So what we will generally feel is a little bit of a cloudiness and confusion about the exact details of moving forward. There could be some changes in plans, some travel plans could be made, some other logistics could come through, communication messages, so on and so forth, which might not be ultra clear around this time. So be patient with yourself in the situation. It will start to become clear beyond the 15th of May. I mentioned that especially heavily for you guys because Mercury is your ruler and that's sitting in the 12th house and going retrograde. It's almost like there is no sense of clarity, or so it can feel. Because the true sense of clarity for you guys is going to come through your unconscious, your dream life, and the times when you are surrendered. That's when Mercury will express itself most deeply. Okay, so let's see how it's impacting you. We have Temperance coming through, very Sagittarian, right opposite your sign. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, and we have the Five of Swords. We have the Five of Wands, 2 5s indicating major change. And Temperance is card number 14, and that also adds up to 5, so we have triple 5. Then we have the 3 of Wands. Okay. All right, so definitely some sort of communication or travel plan message coming through, because 3 of Wands quite literally says that. This can also talk about your manifestations, some wishes that you have made. There might be some adjustments that are being made at this time, like something does not fit the final vision that you have, and if your manifestations have been delayed for some time, this could be the time when you uncover what exactly is the inhibitor. Okay, so once you know, you can streamline it moving forward. But this eclipse is bringing into the surface what needs to be resolved or something needing adjustment. Otherwise, the 5s don't really show up. And that indicates like change, redirection, perhaps our approach or our intention is needing some sort of refinement. And this can make you want to like study something a little bit more or delving into exploration mode. And while Mercury is in Taurus, you have a more slow and steady type of approach instead of rapid fire. Let's go at it, digesting information immediately and quick. Generally your mind is really quick and sharp and agile as well. But in Taurus, it tends to become more focused, and while it's retro and in your 12th house, it becomes even more like slow, calm, steady. It's like in the whispers, you know, you can understand esoteric knowledge much better. You can hear emotions almost. You can understand something that you have not done, but you have a sort of practical intuition around this time. All right, so what is it that calls to you in that way? I think focusing in that area is going to be quite rewarding for you. Now the Temperance talks about healing and resolution as well coming through, which brings you into moderation and balance. So if you have been having a lot of thoughts and being scattered in many different ways, then this could be you kind of cutting away certain commitments, or you know, saying no a little bit more and prioritizing certain things above the others. Because yes, retro time is about retaking or recuperating, relaxing, revising your plans and so on, and that would obviously naturally mean that we have to examine what we have in the first place and what we need and what we don't based on our priorities. Moving forward from this eclipse, what you get is a huge jump in clarity. Okay, even in terms of manifestation, this indicates that the positive rewards will come. It's coming. It's still in the process of coming. So we need to make sure that, you know, before the ships come in, we need to clear some space. If, you know, let's say we get the job application, we need to have time in our hands to commit to that job application, right? It's sort of like the Three of Wands waits in preparation, believing, having complete faith that what it has asked of the universe is coming in. So this is the time to declutter and really make space and be prepared for the thing that you desire or the person that you are wanting to become a part of your life. Okay. Now the Page of Pentacles can talk about some message coming through as well, which has a financial or material component to it. You might have to, let's say, do some handiwork, or you are wanting to practice something like carpentry or some sculpting or something of that sort that is quite interesting. Now pages want to learn. There is the willingness that is very common across the pages. So all you need is willingness, and the expertise and the experience will come with time and effort and practice. But because you're interested, you're willing to go out of your way or willing to take a chance in this direction. All right. We have the Grouse, which says embrace the power of dance and movement to access your highest guidance. Yeah, for some of you, it can even be taking dance classes, you know, aerobics or Pilates or yoga, something like that, which works on your flexibility, brings you to a Zen space, very balanced perspective, whether that is, you know, doing something, you know, physical or, again, moving your body and just going out and being free in that way, just such that you feel kind of surrendered. Dance is very powerful in the way that you're constantly moving your energy, right? When you're moving your body, you're shifting your energy constantly, and you kind of feel your way through the rhythm. And, you know, when you play sort of music, you're trying to match yourself to that step, and that kind of is a way of how we find synchronicity and balance and alignment in our lives in general. That's how the collective moves. We feel like we're alone, but we're like individual particles in an ocean, right? We're all moving in a particular direction, some here, some there, but ultimately in the big canvas, we're all making sense towards one vision. So it's that type of vibe that you might feel. There's a sense of grandeur that comes in this particular eclipse, where there's that depth and purity, sincerity, and just getting through and out of the muck and regenerating your energy, okay? Revitalizing and bringing in a lot more power and force. So in that way, moving, dancing, running, jogging, whatever it is that makes you feel light, free, and, you know, vibrant, doing those things will be very useful for you. Then we have Goose, which says your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. Exactly. So you know what you want, you know what you're doing. Now you will know what is not working in making that vision happen. Okay, the Three of Wands also talks about being a visionary, by the way. So if you know that some things are not fitting well, they're just not meshing well, either you figure out a way for them to adapt, which would be your forte, you're a very adaptable zodiac, Either you figure out a way for them to play nice, or you have an ultimatum of this, either this stays or that stays, or, you know, either this project or that project, whatever it is, based on the priorities that you have. Okay? Page of Pentacles can also bring you a lot of clarity on your priorities in general. You might delve a little bit deeper and try to figure out what is important for you. Let's say you want to keep a diary. Okay, let's say that, or let's say you want to, you know, exercise every day, but you're not able to because you don't really want to. You would like to, you'd like to want to, but you don't really desire that. So then there would be the questions of, okay, so what is the cost versus benefit, okay? Or, you know, what is it really that inhibits me? Is it really this reason? Am I really going to blame laziness or some other reason? I don't know, right? Or is it something else deeper? So there is a sincere focus with which you are asking these questions. There's a probing nature to this particular eclipse here for you guys. And why is because your dreams want to come true and come to fruition. Because the moment you manifest something, it already exists in a certain plane. But it's not yet able to come to you because it requires time and focus and effort, because we need to match it at every single level that is in between us and our goals. Right? If you're able to do that in one shot, then awesome. You know, many people find their manifestations in the next week or in the next month. Meanwhile, for some others, it takes much longer. But either way, it's important to keep making headway and discovering what is not working and what is working. And even along the journey, there are many times we need to make some tweaks and changes in order for that dream to come true. So the goose here says you will get those signs. Next, we have the bluebird, which says you are being gifted with blessings of happiness and peace. And we have the canary, which says step forward now and sing your song. There is power in finding your voice. Yes, so now the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords can be that you are being dimmed by some sort of competition, okay? Or you're playing a role in competition. But here's the deal about that. You can compete with people along the same level or along the same skill set, right? You're not going to compete with your boss, right? Metaphorical boss here, not strictly about career. Whatever the competition is, whether in your business sphere or in your career sense or for a partner, whatever it is, the thing is the competition becomes an illusion over here, because none of the other cards apart from these are about competition. It's all about making peace. It's about forgive and forget, surrender, let go, harmonize, come to a Zen space. You do you. You know, those are the types of qualities that are more highly emphasized. And by doing that, you come out on top. By doing that, you win. So there can be let's say a coworker who is draining your energy by overloading some obligations on you, or kind of battling with words or difference of opinion and this and that. And because of that, it's kind of just taking a longer time to complete something that would have been done a long time ago. And you might be like, yeah, you know what, we can try these things. And even if you have a very good idea, and you can state yourself very clearly, if you want to make the peace, you will make the peace. But if you want to compete, you will compete. You know, that's just the nature of Gemini. You can do both. You can be both. Yeah. But over here, it basically says find your voice. Does that mean that you have to raise your volume more? Does it mean that for your application to stand out, you need to put something that is very strategic, but also very loud, bold, and clear? Is that the way to go? If yes, go right ahead. If it is the other way around, that, you know, you by just getting yourself out of that situation and aiming even higher, you kind of disqualify the original competition and set yourself apart. And by doing that, you're winning, right? Either way, you're setting yourself apart and you're winning in the way that you develop your own ideas. Okay, now that's obviously going to be situation specific. For some people, it does not have to be such a grand, you know, change. But for some people, it absolutely might be necessary. So apply it where it fits. All right. If you're not looking for a job change, or if your coworker is not being annoying, then obviously, you know, that does not apply for you. All right, so we have the castle and we have the empty room. Okay, this is a very interesting combination. I'm going to put this here because it comes one after the other. Very nice, very interesting. So it looks like a rags to riches kind of story, or it, in other words, you know, there is potential and then there is everything. Okay, there's potential and everything. Something that you have set out into the universe and the universe has heard is now coming into fruition here. A dream come true, a fantasy come reality, and also it's sort of like, don't box yourself in as well, is what I get. And that's kind of what I was getting at with the competition as well, actually. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, is don't box yourself in, because there's like infinite to explore. Don't limit yourself to your current competition, because there's like a lot more. Not to discourage you or anything, but like, you don't have to compete with the people that you are if that's not the stage that you want to be in. If you are wanting something else, then just go for the something else. You don't have to worry about the other people or other factors that are involved. Just shoot for the stars. You're going for the castle, right? You're going for the castle, so don't compete for the house, metaphorically speaking. The empty room also symbolizes that there are infinite possibilities, okay? So boxing yourself in does not really make sense. And you're a very naturally explorative sign, but I think you're going to uncover a completely different side to this, because 12th house relates with Pisces and your sign squares with it, okay? Squares with Pisces. And even though both of you have the same mode of operation, you're kind of at odds, because Pisces is more like feeling and intuition. Meanwhile, you're very logical. You're like, I don't know, that does not mesh, right? And this 5 of Wands and Swords could be that clash as well that we're talking about. The 12th house is an uncomfortable space, but you are naturally intuitive. You just have a different type of intuition, right? So engage with it and work together with your intuition this time to get through and kind of thrive in this eclipse and also the retro phase. And as May 15 comes along and we progress beyond that date, you will find a lot more clarity on any ideas that you have. Okay? A lot of prize and treasure. I think the not skills, but I think these are like things that are coming through already from the solar eclipse. Basically, with this lunar eclipse, I think you're being asked to declutter and make very clear, one way or the other, make very clear as to what your priorities are. Okay, either to yourself or someone else, quite literally. Maybe you have to throw some things out and clear some shelves to make space for some nice new clothes or something, you know. Could be very physical, but it can be internal as well. It can be your focus and attention. When we talk about the 12th house, it kind of encompasses your attitude, your intention, and things like that. Pair that with, you know, it ruling you, your personal space and identity and so on. It can be some shifts in your mindset itself. But I think there's a lot more things in an external situations that's coming in, and I think the solar eclipse video will give you a much greater idea of what that is. All right. But let's see what else we get here with this lunar eclipse of Scorpio for Geminis, please. We have the first house, Pluto and Sagittarius. You see, this is like uncovering a whole new level of limitlessness. I think you're feeling a lot more empowered by the end of this. I think your skills are as well up-leveling so much. Temperance indicates you're being protected and guided along this time, and Sagittarius also symbolizes the divine connection with things. So your dreams, your intuition, and things like that I said, which are not very physical, they can have a very strong impact. Okay, so let them come in, don't resist it, and while you might not be able to understand them yet, you will. Okay, you will. Be patient with that. And also Sagittarius being right in your opposite house, in the 7th house, it can talk about other people being involved. So there can be, what is this, like the end of a competition? or some sort of disagreement if you've been having with someone. This can talk about figuring some sort of solution by yourself that is going to transform your relationships and also you. Okay, so I don't want to engage with this type of conversation, or I don't want to engage with this type of competition, so forget about it. You know, you compete amongst yourselves, I'm off. That immediately changes the dynamic that you would have with that other person, and also yourself. The way that you see yourself is going to be wildly different, right? There can also again be this feeling of exploring different things, self-exploration more importantly, to see what feels more purposeful, empowering, and kind of pulls your attention. What is that passion? What makes you want to keep delving deeper and deeper into a subject? That's something you want to know. Also, you might find yourself asking the bigger questions. The Temperance as well corresponds with Sagittarius. So does the Three of Wands actually. So you're asking the bigger questions. The empty room is like, you know, the entire universe. What's the nature of the universe? Or like, where do we come from? What is the soul? What is consciousness? You know, things like that, which are just very hard to give like one neat defined answer, right? So yeah, you would be asking these questions, and whatever answers you discover, and you will discover some, are going to be either profound or just they give you the reason and the motivation to change something in your everyday life. All right. So that's what I have for you, Geminis. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out. Make sure to check your solar eclipse reading. And I will see you some other time. Take care. Bye.